Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. The Curse of Oak Island. The team shuts down operations at the swamp to focus on the money pit. This week on The Curse of Oak Island, the team has started their final preparations for the big dig that's coming their way in the next couple of weeks. And it's all hands on deck as the guys turn 100% of their focus on the money pit. Oak Island is just 2 weeks away from receiving delivery of at least 4 massive 10 feet wide steel caissons. These gigantic pieces of equipment will be drilled into the ground in the money pit area as part of what might be the most extensive excavation ever conducted on the island. And it seems as though the Lagina brothers will be throwing all their eggs into one basket with this dig, as last night they began calling a halt to other operations on the island. This will include ceasing work at the swamp. A few weeks ago, a huge digger with an 80-foot reach arrived on the island to much fanfare and great excitement, all in the hope of digging up an ancient ship, which the guys believe lies hidden in the swamp. Since then, Billy Gerhardt and the rest of the team have unearthed a plethora of wood artifacts, many of which have a nautical origin. But unfortunately, they've not found the ship. On last night's episode, Marty Lagina, rather dramatically, informed Billy, Gary Drayton, and a few of the others that they were to wrap up things at the swamp. Gary was both shocked and a little frustrated, but Marty explained that they needed the swamp's fresh water. Oak Island team needs fresh water to sort through money pit debris. Basically, the big dig at the money pit is going to pull up an awful lot of dirt and debris, which the guys will need to sort through and examine for artifacts. They will feed the debris into a wash plant, where it will be cleaned, making examination easier. Unfortunately, they can only use fresh water for this, so they need to take it from the swamp, and they need to stop digging in the marshy land to allow the water level to rise again. The guys are throwing all they can at this dig, so they'll also need as many guys as possible to help out with sorting the debris at the money pit. So shutting down the swamp is also a way to free up valuable human resources. Viewers can expect this to be a temporary measure. The swamp will return. The guys have been full of praise for the swamp over the last year, because every time they look there, they find something from mysterious stone roadways to a ship's wharf and a ship's railings. Marty Lagina believes they've hit a flood tunnel at the money pit. In the meantime, Marty thinks the team has found a flood tunnel at the money pit. In the last couple of weeks, the drill team has twice hit a cavity, and this week they hit a large quantity of water a mere 2 feet away from that cavity. Marty reckons that the cavity is unfortunately not an offset chamber as previously suspected, but a little pocket of air in a flood tunnel. The discovery of eelgrass last week bolsters his theory, as it's known that the grass was used alongside coconut fibers to act as a filter on flood tunnels at Smith's Cove. If they have found a flood tunnel, the guys will need to find a way to block it off, otherwise, all their work for the big dig could be completely ruined. The cold wind swept across Oak Island, rustling the branches and stirring the mist that hovered over the swamp. For years, the swamp had been a focal point of exploration, its murky depths believed to hold secrets linked to the enigmatic treasure hunt. But now the focus was shifting. The swamp, once teeming with the hum of machinery and the splash of digging tools, was silent. The team was moving back to where it all began, the money pit. The decision wasn't made lightly. The swamp had produced tantalizing clues, mysterious stones, layers of organic material that hinted at human intervention, and strange artifacts that defied easy explanation. Yet, despite their best efforts, the swamp continued to guard its secrets closely, offering more questions than answers. Marty Lagina stood at the edge of the swamp, his hands on his hips as he stared out over the still water. The lines on his face deepened with thought. Rick, his brother, approached from behind, his boots crunching on the gravel. "It's the right call," Rick said, as if sensing Marty's hesitation. Marty nodded slowly. "Yeah, I know. We've given the swamp everything we've got, but it feels like we're chasing shadows. The real story, the real answers, are buried deep in the Money Pit. The Money Pit, the legendary site that started it all. Over the years, it had been drilled, excavated, and probed, yet its depths continued to taunt the team with hints of riches and ancient mysteries. The challenges it presented were immense, almost insurmountable, but that only made it more alluring. The thought of finally cracking its code, of being the ones to solve the 230-year-old puzzle, was irresistible. The next morning, the crew assembled at the Money Pit site. Massive drilling rigs loomed over the landscape, their metal arms ready to plunge deep into the earth. The air was charged with anticipation, a mixture of excitement and trepidation. The Money Pit had a history of swallowing men and machines whole, of leading treasure seekers down dangerous paths only to dash their hopes at the last minute. But this time, things felt different. Charles Barkhouse, ever the historian, clutched a bundle of ancient maps and documents. If we're going back in, we need to keep our eyes on the historical evidence. Every marker, every clue from those old maps points to something significant beneath our feet. We're dealing with a complex system of tunnels, traps, and chambers. This isn't just a hole in the ground. It's an engineered labyrinth designed to protect something. Jack Begley adjusted his gloves, a determined look in his eyes. He'd spent years running through the dense forests, sifting through the muck, and wading through murky waters. Now, standing on the precipice of another deep dive into the unknown, he couldn't help but feel the weight of history pressing down on them. The answers have to be here, Jack muttered. Everything leads back to the Money Pit. The drilling commenced with a roar. The earth shook as the massive auger bit into the ground, cutting through layers of soil, rock, and clay. Everyone held their breath, waiting for the first core sample to be pulled up. As the machinery groaned and shuddered, the drilling team watched intently, knowing that each layer they penetrated brought them closer to either a breakthrough or another dead end. The first few samples revealed nothing but sterile clay and bedrock, disheartening but not unexpected. The Money Pit had always been treacherous, its secrets buried beneath layers of misleading geology and intricate booby traps, but the team remained undeterred. This was a war of attrition, a battle of wills between determined treasure hunters and an island that seemed intent on guarding its mysteries. The sun began to set, casting long shadows over the drilling site. The team took a break, gathering around the table where Charles spread out the old maps. If we're interpreting this correctly, we should be closing in on the chapel vault, he said, tracing his finger along the lines on the map. Rick leaned in, studying the intricate markings. The chapel vault has been the goal for over a century. Some say it holds treasure, others believe it's a decoy. Whatever it is, it's a turning point. If we find it, we'll either be one step closer to the treasure or facing another layer of deception. Marty sighed, rubbing his temples. We've hit so many brick walls over the years. We can't afford another setback. But we have to stay the course. The Money Pit is where this journey began, and it's where it'll end, one way or another. As the night deepened, the team pressed on, their determination unwavering. The floodlights cast an eerie glow over the site, the constant hum of machinery filling the air. The island, usually shrouded in mystery, was alive with activity. Every drill rotation, every core sample brought them closer to an answer, or so they hoped.